I just went through a swarm of bees. Lucky I had my helmet down. Did you see them? Did you hear them? Are they on me? Are they going to sting me? Anyway, where was I? Good morning, everyone. Have you thought about getting a motorbike as a hobby? And if so, have you wondered how much it will cost? Is it expensive? Is it an expensive hobby? Let's have a look at it, shall we? Okay, motorbikes. Fabulous hobby, like many. Is it an expensive hobby to get into? Is it more expensive than some other hobbies? Well, it's been my hobby for about 5 or 6 years now, and I love it. I think it's fantastic. You know, it's not just the bike, it's the company, it's the motor vlogging. You don't have to do the YouTube stuff as well. If you want to, that will be an added expense because you've got your cameras to buy and, you know, a computer that will run a reasonable editing program. Well, if you look at it, like most hobbies, the more you put into it, the more addicted you get, the more expensive it will be. So let's have a look a bit more at the costs of running a motorbike. First, there's the initial outlay for the bike, and that can vary. Really depends on your budget. You can pick up a bike like this for 14 grand. You can pick up an older bike that's done a fair few Ks for $1,000, or you can buy the top end stuff, you know, like the BMWs and Aprilias and all those, which cost a lot more than this, double what this would cost. So once you've bought the bike though, there's the normal running costs you get on a vehicle, like your registration, your petrol, your maintenance, your insurance, okay, this bike here, it's 1,000 cc, so it's a bigger motor, and as far as being economical, it's better than I thought it would be. It's 4.8 litres per 100 kilometres, which is pretty good when the average car is about 8 litres or more per 100 kilometres. So that's good. What about servicing? For some reason, servicing a motorbike appears to cost an awful lot more than servicing a car. I'm not sure why. This bike, you should change the oil like I do with all bikes. I do it at every 6,000 Ks or 5,000 Ks, around that sort of mark, and then at 12,000 Ks I get a bit of a bigger service done, and I think at 24,000 Ks you have the valve clearances done, somewhere like that, something like that for this bike. The big service, some dealers charge up to $1,000. Why? I have no idea. Not sure why. Someone who's a mechanic might be able to tell me why. For the 5,000, 6,000 K oil changes. I do them myself. It's not hard. Cost me about, I don't know, $90 for a kit with oil and the fuel filter. If I get a dealer to do it, they charge me $290. Anyway, it's not cheap, the servicing on a motorbike, in my opinion. My car, which is just a little 4-cylinder, is a lot cheaper to service. But if you don't ride it a lot, it's going to cost you less, isn't it? Like all hobbies. But then if you want to modify the bike, like a lot of us do who are, you know, addicted to this thing, it can be expensive. It's a good idea to know when to stop spending crazy amounts on a bike, spending all that money on aftermarket parts, which you will never see a return for when you sell the bike. If you're going to keep it a real keeper forever, great, then spend that squillion dollars on the bike. But if you're going to think of, if you're a person that turns over your bikes every couple of years, think about spending all that money which you'll never get back again. I do a few modifications on my bikes, mainly for comfort. I do a few for looks, but not a lot. One of the biggest expenses on a motorbike, which I've talked about before in a couple of my videos, are the tyres. Tyres will only last 10 to 14,000 Ks, and they're around the $500 mark. So that's a big expense on a motorbike. And you don't want to skimp when you're buying tyres, because they really do keep you safe. You've got your gear, you've got your helmet, you've got your gloves, your boots, your pants, your jacket. That's expensive, very expensive when you're first starting out on a bike, if you want to buy all good gear and be protected. I try and get good quality stuff, but at a cost-effective price. So I get some of my motorbike gear from Aldi. These gloves here, great gloves, $39. Or you can get the fancy brands, and they'll be triple the amount, you know, 150 or whatever. The boots I've got are Aldi boots, $90. Other brands are $400, $500, $600. And a friend of mine he has some $600 boots. They've only lasted 12 months. These $90 boots have lasted 3 years, and they've still got another year left. Your helmet. This helmet here I have is a good quality one. It was around $350 roughly. Or you can buy the Shoeies and the other top end brands, and you're paying $500 or $600. A lot of money, but probably well worth the money. I've never had one, so I'm not sure. So you got the bike, the running costs, the gear. It's not cheap. I was surprised at how expensive it has been. As in any hobby, the more you're addicted to it, the more you get into it, the more it will cost you. And some hobbies will cost you virtually nothing. I love bird watching. I love it. I've always had birds. I've got a couple of cockatiels. I just love it. Now, Your expense there is your walking boots, good walking boots to keep your feet safe. Your binoculars, good pair of binoculars, a few $100s at least, that will last squillions of years. And then that's it. Seriously, very cheap, fun, inexpensive hobby. Is riding a motorbike a cheap hobby? No, not really. So if you want a bike for a hobby, as a toy, like this is for me, go for it, because I just love it. But it's not cheap. Let me know your thoughts. Drop them down in the comments. I'd love to know what you think. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up. I'd love that. If you hadn't subscribed, please consider subscribing. And stay safe and stay well. Thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. We'll see you next time.